Hello everyone, my name is Roni Fraser, and today I'm going to be presenting my research project titled Raising the Beer Flag, Bonding and Bridging Social Capital Among Disaster Response Volunteers as Protective Factors Against the Post-Deployment Blues. Volunteerism can be conceptualized as one's essential obligation in which time is given freely to benefit another person, group, or cause, often on an ongoing basis. Following a disaster, helpers participate in activities with expanding, extending, and emergent organizations, often in an austere or complex conditions. This study focused on permanent disaster volunteers, defined as volunteers who have functional disaster training experience and specific titles as volunteer responders. Much of the literature on return experiences has focused on the difficulties that long-term humanitarian volunteers, soldiers and veterans, study abroad students, first responders, and migratory persons have when reintegrating back into society, but has not yet looked at how permanent disasters volunteers when they return home. I used a social capital approach for this study, which can be defined as an investment in social relations with expected returns. There are 3 types of social capital: bonding, bridging, and linking capital, all which help contribute to the resilience or bounce-back capacity of individuals and communities. For this project, I wanted to understand how do short-term permanent disaster volunteers reintegrate back home following a disaster response operation, and what organizational factors facilitate a successful reintegration. To study this, I used a qualitative methodology, including 25 gray shirt participants from the organization Team Rubicon, a national disaster response nonprofit. Findings found that the description of the post-deployment blues included a sudden drop in adrenaline, accompanied by a sense of loss of mission, purpose, and camaraderie. In addition, the post-deployment blues were also described as a frustrating experience. I found 2 common strategies for combating the post-deployment blues, including communicating with fellow gray shirts and increasing the volunteer involvement. But further, I wanted to understand the organizational factors that helped contribute to these strategies being used. For communication with fellow gray shirts, I found that camaraderie and friendship, in addition to organizational culture and relationship development while deployed, help gray shirts feel comfortable with communicating with gray shirts once they returned home. In addition, for increasing volunteer involvement, the organizational factors that help contribute to this included the billet conditions while deployed, diversity of the membership and volunteer roles, a sense of fulfillment and appreciation while deployed, and the organizational trust among Team Rubicon and its volunteers. The results found that social capital can be used as a mental health resource because bonding capital between gray shirts while deployed, volunteers were able to capitalize on their newfound or enhanced friendships to communicate with each other after returning home, often through social media, one-on-one check-ins, or participating in other projects. In addition, bridging social capital grew from the culture of camaraderie and mutual mindset of gray shirts. As volunteers connected on social media, even with those they had yet to meet in person, gray shirts trusted that fellow volunteers would have their back and support the Team Rubicon mission that they do. I advised some recommendations for nonprofit and emergency management, including prioritizing the volunteer experience, including before, during, and after an operation, increasing the volunteer activities that are available, both virtual and in person. Finally, I wanted to offer some future research directions, including expanding the study beyond Team Rubicon to compare and contrast return experiences of other response organizations. Thank you for your time.